like your shirt.
Oh, this old thing? What house do you think I'm in?
Oh, I know what house you're in.
Come take a look.
It's a Hufflepuff.
Heck yeah. What does that mean again? What's their talent, or I don't know.
Nice.
That's what their talent is? Nice?
No, there's lots of other things, but mostly Hufflepuffs are really good-natured.
Too bad I'm not a Slytherin.
Why would you want to be a Slytherin?
Or at least a Gryffindor, you know, come on. All right, guys, so to start off our meal plan for day 5, week 2, it's a little bit unorthodox, but it's actually the night before, and we're making our breakfast for tomorrow, which is our overnight oats, and we're doing a chocolate version of this. And so we thought we would explain and kind of show you what we do. That way you can do it yourself. Most of these ingredients you can get on Amazon, or I think most of them we get through Costco. So the first thing you're gonna need is some hemp hearts. And we're just gonna put 3 tablespoons of that in there. And then next we're gonna do a tablespoon of ground flaxseed, a tablespoon of chia seeds. That makes it nice and gelatinous. And then probably about 2 teaspoons of cocoa powder, half a scoop of chocolate whey protein powder, 2 tablespoons of heavy whipping cream, make it a little bit more creamy, and then about 16 drops of liquid stevia to sweeten it up. So really easy. We're just gonna put it in our Tupperware here, mix it up, put a little bit more water in there to our consistency that we like, then close it up and then put it in the fridge, and we'll enjoy it tomorrow. Triple C's for this: calories, carbs, and cost. This is 430 calories, 3.2 net carbs, and it cost $1.44. Looking forward to eating this tomorrow morning. And then last thing before we go to bed tonight, so I've got my apple cider vinegar that I try to take every morning. So lately I've been forgetting to take it, so I like to put it on the counter with my cup and straw, that way I don't forget. So anyway guys, we'll see you tomorrow morning and we'll go over our topic of the day. Okay, so our keto topic of today, keto versus paleo. So we have some family and friends that are currently doing the keto diet, and we have some that are doing the paleo diet. So we thought we would break it down and explain what each are and what are some of the similarities between the two, and also some of the key differences.
I feel like it shouldn't really be like keto versus paleo because they overlap so much. Like, I've heard a lot of people say they fight against each other and contradict each other and stuff, but they really have so many things in common, and they just bring a few different unique strengths and weaknesses to the table. Kind of like a marriage.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, I feel like we try to take the best of both worlds from each of those diets and implement it into our lives.
Oh, for sure.
Because they definitely do like have some good things about each of them.
Yeah, we're totally not against paleo. In fact, we tried it, what was it, like 2 years ago? Yeah, no, 3 years ago. So like 2 years before we even started keto. And we only did it for like 6 weeks, not because we didn't like paleo, because we actually really enjoyed it and had some good results from it. But at that time in our lives, we just weren't ready to like make a permanent change. And so it kind of fell by the wayside. But I do feel like keto was harder for us to start. Paleo, you can have like fruits and honey and maple syrup and stuff like that, which makes it a little bit easier starting out. Whereas keto, I feel, is a little bit more restricted.
So they're both restrictive diets to a degree. They just both focus on different things. So paleo is more eating things that you would find in nature, going back to the early days of what humans would eat.
Which I think is super cool.
Yeah, for sure. And they don't really focus a lot on macros, right? Versus keto, you're trying to focus on macros, obviously, because you're switching your metabolism completely. Instead of, you know, having glucose, carbs be the main source of your fuel, you're switching it to fats, right? And so in order to do that, you have to focus on your macros so you can get your carbs low enough to train your body to burn fat as fuel, right? So a lot of people think that keto's main goal or main focus is to lose weight, which is really just a byproduct of doing keto. You tend to lose fat.
I think a lot of people start the keto lifestyle for losing weight, but
good point. Yeah, but there's other reasons to do keto, right? To reduce inflammation and to improve insulin sensitivity, and just to feel better, right? To heal your gut, which a lot of those things applies to paleo as well. All right, so let's get into the specifics of the similarities between keto and paleo.
Yeah, one thing I know that both lifestyles do is they eliminate processed and refined sugars from your diet. And then they focus on eating real foods and not like processed stuff.
That's true. And I would say not eating grains, eliminating those, and focusing on getting your fats from healthy sources, not like vegetable oils and that garbage.
And another big focus for both lifestyles is also that you try to get your meats from quality sources. So like grass-fed and finished, organic, pasture raised, things like that.
Okay, so the main differences between keto and paleo. For paleo, they're going to allow more starchier vegetables like potatoes, yams, things like that.
Yeah, for sure. And another big difference between the two is dairy. With the paleo lifestyle, dairy is a little bit of a gray area, but most people that are strictly paleo are eliminating it from their diet. Whereas with keto, sometimes people tend to go overboard on the dairy. So it's very contrasted there.
So another key difference is sweeteners. For paleo, technically, any processed sweeteners wouldn't be allowed, right? So things like sugar alcohols, erythritol, things like that, and even like stevia to a degree, I believe, since it's highly processed, even though it comes from a natural source, is a little bit of a gray area there. Versus keto, basically you can use anything that isn't going to raise your blood sugar, right, and kick you out of ketosis.
Probably shouldn't.
Right. I mean, the obvious ones would be like artificial sweeteners. Paleo definitely doesn't allow that. And if you're doing healthy keto, then you wouldn't be doing that either.
No. So some of the sweeteners that paleo uses is things that come from nature, like honey or dates or maple syrup, things like that.
And then one of the last key differences that we've noticed is like the community and like your mindset. So keto, it's more about focusing on losing weight, losing fat, biohacking, do intermittent fasting, things like that, kind of the sciencey part of it. Versus paleo, it's more like sustainability.
Like getting back to your roots, being at one with nature, which is obviously a super overgeneralization because you can focus on any of those things on either diet. This is just like the culture in general of each.
Right. So for lunch today, I am having 2 leftover tacos from our dinner last night. And so if you hadn't had a chance to watch it, go take a look how to make these amazing tortillas that we made. And we're also having about an ounce of pumpkin seeds. I couldn't fit all the 5.5 ounces of ground beef on the tacos, and so I'm just going to eat that on the side. But the total calories, carbs, and costs for this meal is 1,311 calories, 13.7 net carbs, and cost $5.60. Let's take a look at how these hold up. That's why we like these tacos, is that it really holds all the ingredients pretty well. Has some give to it, doesn't crack or anything like that. So it's really delicious. Give it a try.
Okay, so tonight we're having salmon for dinner, just like we did in week 1, day 5, but we're gonna have some slight variations that are gonna really make it pop. So we are doing honey mustard salmon tonight. So we're gonna have a nice mustard glaze on this, and it's gonna be delicious. We also last week had our salmon in tinfoil, so it was like really fall aparty and juicy and delicious like that. This week we're gonna keep it open, and we're actually gonna air fry ours, but you can get the same result by baking it. We're just gonna keep it open so that the glaze kind of like bakes like a crust almost onto the salmon. It's gonna be delicious. So we're gonna start by making our honey mustard sauce, and we'll go from there. All right, now that we've got our honey mustard glaze finished, we're gonna go ahead and put it on our salmon and get it cooking. So we like to do ours in the air fryer, like I said earlier. We cook ours on 390 for 10 to 13 minutes. Or if you don't have an air fryer or prefer it in the oven, you can totally do that as well. Just cook it on 350 for 10 to 12 minutes. All right, so while our salmon's cooking, I'm just throwing some broccoli on the stove as one of our sides. And I also already made our biscuits that we made in week 1, day 5 as well. So check out that video if you want to make biscuits with your dinner tonight too. They're very good. So I've got here on the stove just 85 grams of broccoli. I seasoned it with some salt, pepper, and garlic powder. So I'm gonna let this cook on the stovetop while our salmon's finishing up. Okay, dinner is finished. Come take a look. We've got our delicious glazed salmon, cooked up great, our broccoli, and our cheddar biscuits. So just as a reminder with the biscuits, we cook them in batches of 10 because we use them later in the week. Like tomorrow we're having them with our sardines, and we also have them like with egg salad and stuff like that. So you can make a smaller batch if you need to. But for the triple C's for the meal today, we've got 609 calories, 7 net carbs, and it cost $4.47, which is one of our more expensive meals. But if you compare it to somewhere like Red Lobster, it is like a fourth of the price. So with just a little bit extra effort, you can get a restaurant quality meal at home, which is totally worth it.
All right, guys, so the totals for today's calories, carbs, and cost is 2,390 calories, 23.9 net carbs, and it cost $11.88. And don't forget to take your cod liver or fish oil. All right, so keto versus paleo. So now that we've learned the key differences and similarities, which one comes out on top?
So both of them really are winners here. They both have amazing health benefits, and both lower triglycerides, lower your blood sugar levels, lower your insulin. Really, it's a win-win situation.
Win. Michael Scott.
Michael Scott. So really, I think the better question is, which is better for you?
So the paleo diet is more for people that are looking for a more flexible eating style. Because it's going from a standard American diet to a paleo diet. Sure, it's a lot more restrictive, but it's a pretty smooth transition.
It's a relatively smooth transition.
You're not cutting out all food, all carbs, right? It's just mainly the processed junk food.
And you're also not tracking every little thing that you eat. So it's less about the numbers and more about an eating style.
So I would say that the paleo diet is not for somebody that is super active, because your carbs aren't quite low enough to get in ketosis and switch your body from burning glucose as energy to fats as energy. And the type of carbohydrates you're eating on the paleo diet are usually not the type that will like replenish your glycogen stores when you're working out. So it's probably not best for somebody that is a super active person. Okay, so on the flip side, who is keto for?
So keto is really drastic. So it's for somebody that is wanting to change their body composition. So it's somebody that is trying to lose weight, has a really specific health goal, is trying to kick sugar addiction or cravings. Yeah.
I mean, there's obviously a lot more to keto than that, but that's a big part to do it, right? So who would keto not be for?
I would say that keto isn't for somebody that isn't ready to be fully committed.
But that's kind of for every diet though, right?
That's true, but keto, when you're eating keto, you're eating really high fat and you're trying to stay low carb so that you're in ketosis. If you are not fully committed and you can't get those carbs, then that means you're eating high fat and high carb, which we know is a recipe for disaster. So really, if you're only half in on keto, then you're causing yourself more health problems than you would be if you were not eating keto at all.
Okay, so our opinion, which one we prefer, we obviously prefer keto, right? Or else it would be called calculated paleo.
That does not sound as good.
So I would say for a couple different reasons. The first is that we prefer ketones as our main source of fuel. There's some studies out there that show ketones are a better source of fuel, cleaner source. It's like running on premium gas versus just regular gas, less oxidation in your body. And then two, the second reason would be that I think it's mainly a preference. I like the restriction of carbs, specifically with sugar. It's kind of like bowling. You know, I like the bumpers up because if they're down, I'm going to get too close to the edge and I go way overboard. And so that's something that I don't quite like as much about the paleo diet is there's a little bit of a gray area, a little bit more, too much flexibility.
Yes.
And I'm worried about going overboard on it.
So really the conclusion is that keto and paleo are both amazing lifestyles. You're not going to go wrong either way. Both are trying to accomplish great things and you're going to be living a healthier, more elevated life by eating keto and or paleo. Really, I like these kinds of conversations because this is the conversation we should be having versus whether or not you should be eating the standard American diet or some other crappy diet that shouldn't even exist. But that's not the world we live in right now. So we're trying to change that narrative. So please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and we can have more conversations like this.
All right, guys, we'll see you.